What's up everyone, it's Boris, new video. It sounds great. Oh, and let me stress out that this video is not a hate against Sony. I will try to be more of a realistic, fact-checking and giving you more of a view from above or from a side of the Sony bubble. Now, in my previous video, I can admit that it was a little bit clickbaitish, especially with my thumbnail, but the most fact what made me make this video was what is such a crazy buzz about it, and why, if other brands are doing the same thing, would be kind of also laughed about, because this is connected to all of them. And this is what Sony brought. Basically, for example, said our users, they don't need OpenGate. And I always say like, but this is just a software thing, right? And it's a great option to have. There is this claim that you can recompose. Not all the time you can recompose. You can do compromises. This is why you need to find solutions constantly all the time. And all the new options, for example, even this new Sony amazing camera is the great autofocus, and I can counter it, but you don't need such a great autofocus. Like you can, do it differently, but it's great to have, right? It's great to have top-notch autofocus, which solves problems for you, and you can focus on something else. And this comes also with OpenGate. It gives you options, especially in the tiny rooms, but anywhere else, that in a higher quality you can shoot a bigger frame and then recompose it in post-production in your needs, especially when you do like work for both vertical and horizontal at the same time. You will bring it simply in a higher, bigger quality, and especially in the more tiny places where otherwise you would need to create crazy creative solutions. This space gives you basically more space. And this is it, this is about it. It's not about just this is a phenomenal revolutionary thing, but it's great to have. And Sony misses it for unknown reason, actually, in my opinion. But you can work with it. It's not a deal breaker for many, even though maybe it would be for me. But I'm a user of a different system, so I already know the benefits of it. But I understand that there is a big army, or I don't want to say army, big bunch of people, almost majority of people working with Sonys and loving the systems. I haven't ever tried anything else, and that's fine, because why would you do it? You have amazing products, actually. And this A7V, to be very honest, it's a great camera, photo camera, with some theoretical options which are really, really fascinating, I would say. Let's say this dynamic range. They promised 16 stops EV. Just no one told you this is a theoretical thing, and probably it will be somewhere around 12. I'm very curious if around 13, because this will be amazingly real world scenario, because the best cameras, which S1ii in this category and Nikon Z8, let's say, even though this is a little bit higher product, a higher valued product, they have 11.3 in Nikon and 11.7 in Lumix, who are both claim 15. Yes, this is the real world thing. And of course, Canon probably even lower, but let's see, because no one really tested R6 III. Also in this real world scenario, there are not really relevant data yet on the market, and they are not also available for Sony. And whoever tells you that the pictures look amazingly on JPEGs, well, come on, this is not really relevant thing for any camera. Yes, that was very hard for me doing reviews for Lumix cameras when they were still locked for Lightrooms and other products which could really unlock the raw files. So take this with big reserve how the image quality really will be affected, because something is theoretical and marketing and something is reality. But on the other hand, why would we question that this wouldn't really work well? As I said, anything around 12 and above would be great, but let's wait for the real test before judging it. But marketingly, it sounds great, and if Sony does something amazingly well, especially now, it's the marketing. Marketing is top-notch, the way how they sell the product, the way how they care about the products in the way of marketing. This is phenomenal. Of course, we can say also the lens options and, so many benefits it really has. And let's not say it doesn't have. Of course, now other brands like L-Mount Alliance, they have already a great amount of lenses, so many that there is really an option almost, I would say, even for everything. Sony has this covered, really. And of course, they have amazing lens by themselves, so let's just not talk about it. I just want to stress out things that the value of what inside it brings, it's not comparable at some point to the other brands in the same rank, because they miss some functionalities. They simply miss. They have some others. They have 2 USB ports. brilliant thing in my opinion. Maybe also not for everybody. I think they also try to bring things which are really reliable for people who are using video, but not in such an amount as the other competitors in the same rank. Because the thing which I think get crazy a little bit over all the videos is that people try to defend Sony and trying to say, but this for this is this camera, for this is that camera, for this is that camera. Yes, but we are talking solely about the market bunch of cameras in the same rank, which means in this case S1ii from Lumix, Nikon Z6 III, Z6 III, Canon R6 Mark III. Those are basically the three cameras, and they all bring something a little bit better software-wise, I would say. Now, what Sony does great, for example, in video, because I think there is this most relevant topic of it all, is the overheating, which is now comparable to Lumix, which has the fan inside of it, but after the updates, it's zero issues at all. But Sony does it passively, so it can be having a smaller body, it's very efficient insides, so the chipset and so on probably generates less heat in general, and also their battery life, it seems to be extremely improved. Again, let's see how it will work in the real case scenario with RAWs, but for the video, all the tests says it's better, which is I think a great value. The other value it has is the autofocus, and now talking about autofocus, I can say anything like everybody says about the open gate. You don't need such a perfect autofocus anymore, but it's good to have, right? And I think this is a great thing about it, that if you watch it from a little bit more above, you can simply criticize without using. And this is just the thing what I would be a little bit sad as a Sony user that it doesn't have those options. As I would said, if Lumix does it, if Lumix doesn't bring better options, I would say like, but why? Why didn't you put a little bit more effort? But coming it from Sony, which is the leader of, or it was at least a leader of some technological improvements, and probably it still is, then you say like you're valuing the camera for customers a little bit arrogantly, right? And I would say they need to put it because they put so much money into marketing. And that marketing works, and that all the people are extremely positive about the camera without even criticizing, because who's criticizing the camera? The users who are not using Sony cameras, right? Because they see like, what is the big fuss about it? We already have all those options. Lumix S5 II, pre-burst 1.5 seconds, blackout free. It all has it, you know? It's better. It's better in this option. Like the only thing what it doesn't really have better, what we can measure now, it's, I would say, battery life, okay. And the second thing is autofocus, which is great, absolutely perfect. Or no, this is a wrong claim. It's not absolutely perfect in compared to Sony. I think this is just a better option than Sony. It's better than A7 IV. It has better EVF than A7V. You know, it has more software options. Somebody says, oh my god, but there are too many options. You know, like, it's no one forced you to use all those options. It's not even confusing. It's clean, you know. Anyway, everybody has the camera for some usage, and not all the people are using all of it inside. No one really needs RAW or some specific colors, as is Arilog or Red RAW. For me, for example, it's funny comparing it to ZR, which is more likely a cinematic camera, even though all of them are now cinematic camera. This is also the funniest thing ever. So what is the benefit of Sony? I think if you're a user of Sony, you will anyway choose it, because it's a big upgrade from A7 IV. It is a big upgrade. If you're a new user, the question is, why would you use Sony? Bigger option for lenses, or more options which you can use in the future? This is the question. This is more likely the thing. This is what I never understood, but I would then wish, and maybe this is a wish, but actually I might not care, that all the other companies put a little bit more pressure into marketing, especially my company Lumix, to make their products a little bit more sexy, because they are sexy actually. But I talk about it more, that it's sexy, than the Lumix itself. And I think this should a little bit change, because this is exactly what Sony does. They sell features, theoretical features, which no one can even test, and everybody's over the moon about them, showing you JPEGs. It's like, oh, okay, do it, but this is not relevant. But for Sony users, maybe it is relevant, and it's fine. I don't want to fight it. I don't want this to be a claim, because like something to fight, because all the cameras nowadays, they bring amazing value for the price. I would say some a little bit more and some a little bit less. But regardless this They are all amazingly great cameras. They are. Simply, they are. What you will choose, this is up to you. I will not fight you. Choose my brand, choose the other brand, or choose Sony. This is, after all, your choice. And this is fully respected. And that's it. Thank you for watching. Bye.